What's up, print hustlers? Welcome back to another shop tour. We've got our man Rum Walia here from Supacolor, also from Deco Press. This is going to be exciting. We're talking about high volume heat transfers. There's some stuff we're going to show you. There's some stuff unfortunately we can't, but we're going to give a little sneak peek of everything. We also got Rum's crew, and we've got Stan Banks from T-Shirt Side Hustle. We're going to link his YouTube channel down below. He's got some awesome tips as well, and just videos and content that you'll be able to listen to as well. That was a long intro.
That's good.
Thanks for letting us hang out. So, first of all, you've got two different businesses. I don't think people know about the Deco Press side, but we're going to show everything as much as possible.
Sure, for sure. Basically, Deco Press, this business was started about 6 years ago, and specialized in heat applied products and heat application with heat transfers and emblems. And then soon thereafter, just the passion that we had in that space led us to Supacolor, which we of course now are sharing with the rest of the world. And Deco Press is going to be launching a line of emblems that are all heat applied as well, and so that's really exciting. We're looking forward to bringing that to the market. It's been around for a while, but we just haven't really marketed it or publicized it, and now we're getting ready to do that.
Heck yeah. All right, let's check out the facility. Let's see where you started. Well,
cool.
First of all, is this the building you've been in at for a while? Or?
Yeah, this is the building that we started in. I think it was 2014 that we moved in. When we first moved into this facility, we only had one half of it, and the other half was being leased out to another company. But yeah, let's check it out.
Heck yeah. So with COVID now, do you have people that come in, or is it all shipping out? Or?
We do have will call. It's in the parking lot, so if somebody wants to come pick something up, it's touch free. But for the most part, 99% of our orders are shipping out.
Got it.
These are all the sample packs that are going out for Supacolor every day. We ship out roughly 400 sample kits per day.
Can people order those, or are you just it's for sales?
No. You can order a Supacolor sample kit at no cost to you. You just go to supacolor.com, click the Get Started button, fill out the app, and we'll ship it out in 2 days.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Cool.
Let's take a look.
Fit in. So, over here we have customer support. This is Nancy and Jennifer. They're our local support team. We've got support teams globally in the UK, New Zealand, and here in Los Angeles. And they do a great job of helping everybody get through their problems.
Got it. I see you guys are also using Front App too.
Yeah, we love Front App. It's the way we stay organized. It allows us to manage multiple channels, tag each other in conversations so that we can resolve any issues or help customers through their experience at both Supacolor and Deco Press.
Got it. Do you feel like, actually I don't want to bug her on the phone too. Hold on, we can go over here.
We'll come back and talk to her.
Okay. I'm just curious, like as a business owner too, helping to kind of delegate off some of the questions that you probably get growing the business is like, yeah, it's Rum. Like, let me talk to Rum. It's the owner, right? Like, we're buddies. That obviously doesn't scale.
Yeah.
And in fact, because we were talking about before, I feel like I'm way slower at helping customers. Do you feel like Front has allowed you to like assign emails off, or?
Absolutely. Yeah. The thing that I love about using a communication management app like that is it gives full transparency, right, to everybody on your team. And what I've realized over time is I'm not the best person to do everything, and I need to know what my limitations are and allow other people to step in and kind of take care of people.
Sure.
Now, the early adopters of our service, they still want to connect with me, and sometimes I find it a little bit hard to let them know that, hey, as the president of the company, I can't necessarily help everybody, or sometimes I'm in meetings and not around, so I try to get them to work with people that are more qualified at this moment.
Right. Without insulting someone.
Without insulting
someone.
someone.
You're too busy now.
Oh, you're too busy for me now?
Yeah.
You're too big, whatever it is. But the thing with Front is we also have the ability to analyze our service times.
Okay.
And it allows us to measure our responsiveness and then also set some goals that we want to reach so that we just continue to improve how well we're operating, it gives us specific metrics to look at.
Like response time.
Yeah, response time, how happy are people. And the other thing is a lot of these platforms, they allow you to use additional plugins,
right.
like, adding a chat feature to your website, adding a small rating system, like how satisfied.
Oh, so they have integrations too.
They have a lot of integrations.
This is so big. I mean, I feel like the more shops I go to, the more I see using Front, and I'm just like, okay, no brainer.
Honestly, like this could be a Front commercial.
And it's like $10 a month or something. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Like obviously we're not Front.
Yeah. It was a game changer for us.
Helpful.
It was a game changer for us, right? Like we were using Microsoft Outlook, and it had like some severe limitations in just in terms of us being able to. We were forwarding emails,
right?
And I think that it's like death by, emails.
Yeah.
And so once we got away from that, it just kind of like allowed us to do more with less people.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can scale up, and then what it also allows you to do is it allows you to divide up the tasks for certain people.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody on our team knows if this email pops up or this question pops up, who it goes to.
Got it.
And I think that that's a really good way to build teamwork and stay organized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Is this like team meeting?
Yeah, for sure.
Offices.
This is our marketing team. Sergio, John's not here.
What's up, Sergio?
And what we do here is social media, community management, and then also driving our marketing initiatives. And we've got a heat press in here. Sometimes we're taking some photographs or videos, or just doing some really quick testing. We have heat presses everywhere.
What does like community management exactly mean?
Community management just so at Supacolor, we want to help people grow, and the way we help people grow is by building a community of people that not just use our product and services, but help each other. Understand ways to use heat applied products to grow their business or their craft, whatever it is that's important to them. And so Sergio's main responsibilities with us are to communicate with our customers and also post content that's going to either give them tips on how to use our products or how to grow their business, show people like beauty shots that are going to inspire them to do things, and just really just improve our communication amongst all of the people that are out there that are following Supacolor and Deco Press, but also to get more people interested in the heat applied products market. We want to inspire people to come into this space and use our products and use our service, but also understand what the other opportunities outside of us are to them.
Got it.
Yeah.
Sergio, actually, a question. For creating a lot of the social content, do you guys use, like, are you designing it, or do you use like Canva, or,
Yeah, I mean, it's actually a combination of, me and two other guys. That would be Renee and Dennis. So they'd be our other main content creators. I'm pretty much helping them.
Okay.
So with that being said, we're all using, Adobe Photoshop, Premiere, Illustrator, InDesign, pretty much what it takes to make the content.
That makes sense. The reason I ask is because we just brought in somebody to own digital marketing, and they don't know Photoshop, which is fine because they're very good at digital marketing. But so we're trying to use like other tools that are more graphic friendly, so you don't have to teach Photoshop. So anyway, just curious.
Yeah, and so we have clearly defined like marketing objectives that we're after. We have like our marketing pillars and things like that. I won't dive into that. But each person on our team has kind of a role or responsibility, and it works out pretty well. Like most of what we do is to inspire like the hustler out there that wants to do more, that wants to do better.
For sure.
And we love doing that. Yeah.
For sure.
Cool.
I will follow you out.
Yeah. And this is our media room. It's pretty messy, but that means that we're doing work in here. We love to use green screens and other types of screens in order to fill more content.
So is this to go out onto social, or is this for the site for like when people are picking products?
I think it's a little bit of both. Okay. Like one of the ways we build community is by showcasing work from our customers, and by the way, we only do that with their consent and their approval. So we'll ask if we can use it, and a lot of people.
Why? You said, did somebody get upset?
Yeah, like there's a lot of people.
We had a couple that was like, "Hey, this is mine." I was like, "Oh, sorry, is it okay?" And they're like, "Yeah, but I think it's just that we didn't ask first."
So you know, if you're a professional printer, like some people are very mindful that they don't want their end user to know how the product was made or how they used it.
I gotcha.
Now,
Okay.
but if you like, for a lot of people, it's like it elevates their game. We know people that like us and people that don't like us both like to hashtag us,
right?
Because what it does is it elevates them, and so even the people that are like not really fond of us or don't really see how we add value, they'll hashtag us in their content just because they want to move up in the search rankings.
Sure.
They want to become more relevant.
Sure.
But going back to the content, this is where we film, we shoot, we create content, and then we share them with our community.
Got it. This is awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously love content as a whole, and a gear junkie too, so.
Cool. Next, this is my office. This is where I work.
Damn.
And
as a fellow content creator, this is probably my favorite room, by the way.
yeah, no doubt. And Renee has done a phenomenal job of building this room out for me. And also our marketing team, primarily our creative director, Dennis Gomez, he made this background for us. It's got soundproofing material built into it. And
so this is this whole thing is custom?
Custom. This is all custom. We had it custom made.
Is it CNC'd or is it you like buy
Yeah,
it?
I don't know. We hired a company to do it, but he designed it, they made it, and then this sign can be swapped out. So if I'm doing Supacolor content, it will be Supacolor. If I'm doing Deco Press content, it'll be
This
Deco
is
Press.
awesome. And really cool chairs. This is just a great vibe.
My favorite thing in the office is this is another plug for VeriDesk. I can work in standing position or in sitting position.
Do you feel like, because I have a standing desk too, I feel like I stand maybe 20 minutes out of the day though.
Yeah.
Just it like helps jog, you know, my brain and everything, and then I go back to sitting. Do you actually stand a lot?
I would probably say I stand for no more than 20 to 30% of my day.
Okay.
Because, and I'll tell you why. It's because
You're already walking around.
I'm running around.
Yeah.
Most of my time is like either I'm out of the office, like meeting someone, doing something, or I'm on a Zoom call, or I'm helping, like problem solve in the factory,
Sure.
which is something I'm trying to pull myself out of. But yeah, I wish I stood more. It's better for me.
How do you think about, you just mentioned trying to pull yourself out.
Yeah.
I feel like this comes up so often.
Yeah.
And it feels like it never ends because your role is constantly changing.
Yeah.
And then you're always trying to grow and do the most important thing. But like, did it ever trigger to you as like, I gotta stop doing this? Or like, when was that? Do you remember?
Yeah. Well, I think that like at some point I realized that if this was going to go to the next level, right? Like it everything couldn't pass through me.
Right.
And so the analogy that I'll give you is we have a big wheel, and then in the middle of it we have another little wheel.
Right.
And so what was happening was everything was having to go through me through the center of the wheel.
Got it.
Right? And so I became the bottleneck in the business. And what I realized is I needed to smash through the middle of the wheel. I had to break it so that it was just one big circle, so that everything would start and have an end and it would have a clean finish. So I've been realizing more and more and more that like once we have adopted a process or an ideology, a mentality of how we're going to go about doing things, I should bring the vision along with my partner Mike and other high-level executives. We bring the vision, we implement the vision, and then we delegate to people, and then we're out. And we got to move on to the next thing.
Right.
And being a serial entrepreneur, because that's how I think of myself, because I've been through so many different businesses over my lifetime now, is that I just know that in order to grow, you have to be able to lead. And in order to lead, you can't be stuck in doing daily tasks.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest part.
It really is, and the reason I bring this up is this just also reminds me of me being in coding day to day, or wanting to help a customer out, or like more smaller things that I know the team could handle, but there's always this knee-jerk reaction of I got it. Like, let me just get it. I'll do it. And I'm just curious, like, is there any things that you've done to try to help move out of that day-to-day operational thing? Like, some shops that I physically leave for 2 weeks, I'm not at the shop, or I don't work at the shop for 3 days out of the week, something like that.
Yeah, man, I have 2 little kids, and I guess the way I would describe it is my youngest one is 1.5 years, and he has separation anxiety, and I feel that often in the businesses. Like, I feel like if I would get too far away from something, that it might not work, it'll fail or whatever. And I think part of that is an exercise in building trust with the people around you.
Sure.
Because sometimes because I was so hands-on in my approach for so many years, it's really hard to let go.
It's ingrained in you.
It's ingrained in me. It's a part of my DNA, right?
Totally.
Because I just want it so bad.
Well, you wouldn't have gotten to stage 2 as well without having gone through that first stage.
Right. I agree. And so, to your point, I had to create space. I had to create separation, right? And there were many things that I did. The pandemic was very helpful because I actually couldn't be in the factory anymore because I wasn't an essential employee in the sense where I was doing manufacturing. So I had to work from home, and that created some distance.
Yeah.
And what it also forced myself and some other executives to do is to actually lead and have visibility from afar.
Sure.
And that's challenging, right? Like, because now you're using a different set of skills, right? That you're not used to using, or you may not use on a regular basis, and it allows you to grow.
Right.
But what it also does is it gives everybody around you space to grow as well, because you're not micromanaging them.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. All right, we're gonna do another. We're gonna go deeper into this on a future podcast, but
for sure.
All right, cool. Let's go on to the floor.
All right, cool. We are now entering Deco Press, and Deco Press is going through a transition right now. What we used to do was we were a heat-applied application facility. So we would create heat-applied products, and then we would apply them to various garments, bags, and caps. Now, in here, you're going to see that we have several different types of heat presses all around us. There's actually no screen printing in here. There is a little bit of embroidery, which is typically done to add some sort of a treatment or a border to patches. But in essence, what we do is we use heat press technology to decorate garments. Now, being that we're transforming into just focusing on the emblem side of our business, which has been blowing up, we find it, that we're going to be basically getting away from decorating garments. Now, what we also use this facility for is testing all of the products that are made by both Supacolor and for Deco Press. So we have manual presses over here. We have the latest cap presses, standard presses that you'll see in most facilities, label presses, and then we also use shuttle presses and pneumatic presses that are made from some of the best press manufacturers in the world. And what we really wanted to do, and we needed to get to this point, right? Like, we needed to be able ourselves to be able to do high volume heat press work and be able to make money doing it, and then be able to show other people how to make money doing it.
For sure.
And so a lot of our R&D were through, trial and error over the last, 6-7 years since 2014 when we started, and then just constantly trying to push the bar, raise the ceiling higher, and find ways to, help people make more money.
For sure.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So the garments come in over here, and it comes in, counted in.
So come on, let's come this way. So what we have here is goods in, goods out.
Okay.
This is our loading dock. Nayeli over there, she is our shipping dispatch manager,
Hi,
as we call
Nayeli.
it. There's Nayeli. And so she'll take in all the goods, she'll check them in, and then basically they'll end up on one of these pallets. Now each one of these pallets has a letter and a number. So this is A1, A2, A3. What'll happen is that when the goods are received on the order, it'll be marked what pallet, what shelf, what area they're on. And smaller packages will end up on this shelf so that we know it's on a smaller package shelf.
Got it. So you mark that on there, and that, like, if you're waiting for stuff or whatever, it's easy to pull back up.
So like if you're using Printavo, just in the comment section, you can put it in there. You can use it as a tag, whatever works.
Got it.
Yep.
Got it. And that just helps. Like, when did you start doing that? Because this isn't super common.
We've been doing this now for maybe about 3 years, 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah, and what it allows our production people to do is to go and quickly find what they need, because they know where it is. There's no like hunting it down, right? So in terms of our checking in process, we have a couple of different ways that we check in garments. If it's a high volume job, over a certain number of pieces, let's say 200-300 pieces, we do what's called a box count. We do a box count, and then we go off of whatever the packing slip says. Then, if it's a low volume order, what we do, let's say it's under 100 pieces, we do a physical count. Okay, we're not physically counting everything because there's so much work coming in and out of here.
Sure.
And then there's the tweener, right? The tweener is where the customer is requesting that we actually do the count, and in that case, we do have some additional charges that'll apply because there's labor involved. But in most cases, you know, we're just operating on the first two that I described.
Interesting. How do you try to price by that? Is that like a quarter an item type thing, or is it?
Yeah,
does it depend on the item?
We've tried a couple of different things. One is that we charge $60 an hour to do it, and usually it works out to be about the same thing, about 20 cents, 25 cents. And so we actually don't find ourselves in that position very often, but during the pandemic we did, because you wouldn't get, like if you were ordering fleece, it wouldn't all show up at the same time.
For sure.
And so we were having to do multiple counts. But in situations like that, we don't like to nickel and dime our customers, because it was just a sign of the times.
Right.
We just had to roll with it, right? So we found ourselves like counting and recounting and doing that over and over again.
But so was it the time that triggered you to say, hey, we should start charging?
It was the time, because like, you know, often we would get like jobs that were like 400 or 500 pieces, and sometimes you end up getting extra larges instead of 2XLs because they didn't have something in inventory. So what we would do is we would be forced to have to count.
Got it.
And so it was because we'd get into production and then we were short something, and then we'd have to reach back out to the customer, and then you'd have to stop, and then you'd have to restart again when you got the right stuff. And in this business, starting and stopping is deadly.
Yeah.
And so so that's why counting became more important.
Got it. And then, so everything comes in here, and then this is essentially staged. Since you're all heat transfer, they're just grabbing it when the transfers are ready and just starting to work?
This is how we have a check-in process, right? So we have a check-in process for the garments, but we also have a check-in process for transfers and emblems.
Okay.
Now, when, let's just move this way.
Yeah.
So this is Maria Betancourt. She's our production manager over
Maria.
here.
Hello.
So what happens is that the patches that are made in-house, they get labeled, they get inspected, they get bagged, they get checked, and then they go over to shipping. And then the transfers, the same way. When we take in transfers, and this is what we recommend to everybody out there that is pressing, before you start working, inspect your transfers. It's just, you know, mistakes can happen, they do get made. We recommend counting them, inspecting them, making sure that they match up with the artwork. And if there's a problem, just hit us up, because we just reprint. We just make it happen for you. We don't argue, we don't have a problem. We just want to make the situation right. So part of Maria's job is doing that QC, spot checking it, and then pairing it up with the job and making sure that when our press technicians are ready to take on a job, they grab the box, they grab the transfers or the patches, and they're able to go to work because they don't have to worry about everything. Now, if you look over here, On these screens, we've got the job that she's working on. And if you zoom in onto that screen,
Yeah.
we can show you where the
Like
placements
super
are.
detailed.
Super detailed for the placement, so they know exactly what everything does. The benefit of doing that is that Zyra, she can measure out exactly where something's going to be going, and she can get her right placement. Now, the technique that she's using right now is we're actually not doing the placement on the press. She's using Captain Tape to place the transfer with tape onto the garment to get proper placement. The benefit of doing it this way is that she doesn't have to worry about positioning the transfer on the press, it would take her more time to do it that way. Now, if you really want to be efficient in doing this, one person does the setup, one person does the pressing.
Got
Okay?
it. Double time.
Double tag, exactly. And that just makes things go really, really fast and you get a rhythm to it. Easy, fast peel, peel low and peel confidently, right? You don't want to stop and take a look as
So
you're
you
peeling.
think this way is a lot more accurate of putting it on the table, measuring, setting it up,
Right.
and then moving it over.
If you look at this design, right, it's pretty elaborate. There's a bunch of different pieces that are going in different locations, and you want to make sure that the positioning is done as well as possible. Much easier to do it here than to do it here.
Got it. And it's
Right?
nice and flat and
Exactly.
Okay.
So the idea is that we want to make sure that we're as productive as possible. So we want our output per hour in terms of pressing to be at a high level.
Got it.
And this is one of the ways we do it. So what she's doing right now is we've cut cardboard. She's inserting the cardboard into the sleeve, because what you want is a really flat surface. You want these seams over here not to like get in the way of pressing. She's folding the transfer in half. What that does, it allows you to find the midpoint of the transfer. Once she knows where the midpoint of the transfer is, she can lay it down so that it's in between both the seams on either end. She takes the tape off because the tape that she had underneath was showing her where the middle of the sleeve was. She's going to apply tape to either end. That tape does not leave a mark. And now she's ready to press again. The cardboard is still inside the sleeve right now. And what that does is it allows you to get more pressure on the area that you're pressing, but it keeps everything nice and flat. And this is on a pneumatic press, 310, 40 PSI for 10 seconds. Check out the peel. Super fast, super easy. But
were you nervous at all
when
she's gonna peel?
Oh, well, no.
I'm kidding her.
I am.
But check that out. Like we'll grab this cardboard out of here. Sorry, Zyra, I didn't mean to snatch that from you. But I'm going to give you your cardboard back. But let's just have a look at this real quick.
Yeah.
Now, many of you are going to be wondering what this box right over here is. This is definitely the box from the cardboard. Now, when you see something like this on cotton, what I want you to know is this. In cotton, natural fabrics, natural fibers, there's a lot of moisture. When you press, that moisture evaporates, it comes out, it steams out of the garment, and it's going to leave this mark. What will happen in 24 hours or so, you will see the moisture come back into the garment, and then this will be nice, and it'll all be uniform. The other thing that you can do if you're in a hurry to get this out is you can take a little bit of a fabric, you can mist it, and then you can rub it over, and it will eliminate this because you're adding moisture back. What you don't want to do is spray all over, right? You don't want to spray all over. Oh, what are you using here?
That's to take the heat mark away.
Oh, can you show us how you do that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because she's gonna actually show you a different technique that I actually don't use, but I probably should.
This is just felt.
Okay, this is felt. And boom, look at that. Now I know what you're wondering. You're like, well, if I have to do that on every piece and I have to do 1,000 of them, like it's just going to take more time. And you're right, it is. And that's why we say, if you just let it sit, it'll regain its moisture and it'll look fine. But if you're in a hurry, we just gave you 2 tips on how to accelerate the moisture being added back into it. Boom.
So we don't want to be hearing about the. No, I'm kidding.
Or just use felt by itself.
Or just use felt by itself. But see, these are just tools of the trade,
Sure.
tricks of the trade, right?
Sure. So what do you? So like, okay, this is obviously a really nice heat press here.
Yeah.
I guess if we're getting into it, what's a good maybe starter or mid-level to high-end that people should look into? Because you start to talk about press fatigue before.
Sure. I think the best way for us to talk about press fatigue is to actually start at the manual press.
Let's do it.
But before we go there, I want to show you one more thing. Okay, this is brand new.
We got Billy Mays over here.
And what we have over here is this is a template that we've made. And this template actually has a box where the design is going to sit in. And this helps Brandon do his placement. The cutout over here is for the zipper placket. And then basically this is our spacing by location.
Column standards.
Standards. Column standards. So Brandon's going to show us how we're going to use this template. So Brandon, go ahead and show us how you use this template for your placement.
All right, so when we're dealing with women's sizes, we have to do inner line here. It needs a little more space to the left. We come here, this is left chest.
So this inner line here is lining up with the end of the text?
Yeah.
Okay. And he's using the captain tape. That allows him to lock in his position. And he's going to remove the template now. And boom. Now he's ready to press. So this brings up a point. You have a setup when it comes to heat pressing. And this is the challenge in figuring out how much to charge for this service.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Right? This is a premium service. The perception is that transfer work is not as a high perceived value. It actually is. In fact, the biggest sports brands and the biggest brands in the world are using heat transfers to decorate the most technical, complex garments that are out there, because transfers are very versatile. They allow you to do more. That's exactly what Supacolor is there for. We have 5 different types of transfers that allow you to go on different types of fabrics, allow you to expand your decorating game and do more for your customers. Quite frankly, it allows you to say yes to more projects that you might be saying no to. All you need is the right techniques and then the right equipment.
So you were just talking about pricing.
Yeah.
How do you price, like for this job, right?
Yeah.
How are you going at it? Let's say people are adding it to their business. I think a lot of people tend to think about it as just names, numbers.
Yeah.
But you know, is it quantity? Is it a sliding scale? Is it size?
Right. So let's start with the transfers. Our transfers are priced off of 3 things. They're priced off of the transfer type, the size, and then the quantity.
Got it.
Okay? That's the cost of goods sold. Then, for the application, this is where the labor part comes in. Your pricing is going to be based off of your cost of goods sold, the cost of your transfer, your emblem, and then your application. Okay? What I recommend, what we've done, and this was through a lot of trial and error, by the way, because we had to figure out what the right formula was.
Yeah.
But what I did was I took the cost of the transfer and then I marked it up between 20 to 30%.
Okay.
Okay? Now, that's based off of volume. You get to stagger it out. Now, some people...
So 20 to 30% is the bottom, you know, maybe 12 piece
Yeah,
or something. Okay.
That's it, exactly. And some people are doing even more, 50 to 70%.
But the garment also has a 50 or 100%? Okay.
That's completely separate.
Okay.
So all we're talking about right now is just the cost of goods sold
Got it.
and the labor
so 20
to press.
to 30%
That's right.
on the transfer.
20 to 30% at least on the transfer as a minimum threshold. And then there's a press charge. Now, how do you figure out your press charge? So this is through a lot of trial and error. But what we did is we broke our press charges down based on the type of garment or product we were decorating. Now, if it's a t-shirt, it's much easier because you're just throwing the t-shirt down, you're slapping it on, you're hitting press. If it's something that has a zipper and requires a little bit more placement, then what we do is we charge a little bit more. So we broke down our press charges down from a regular t-shirt to outerwear to bags to caps. And each one of them had a different type of press charge because the work required was a little bit differently. Now, just like other decorators, if you have to take something out, you have to remove a tag, you have to unbox it, unpackage it, all of those things are on top of it.
But are you taking in also location then too? Because we
Yeah.
just saw the sleeve, right, and the time it takes versus this one versus just the tee.
Right. So we do. In special cases like the job that we were looking at earlier, we are going to have additional markups. And sometimes those come down to the eye test.
Okay.
Those come down to the experience test, right? You're going to do a couple of jobs, they're going to blow up because the labor cost you a lot more, and then you're going to look at it and say that wasn't worth it. What you want to take away from that job is what you want to learn from that job is how to price it at that time. That's an opportunity in learning how to price something that moving forward you should offer, because that type of work, as complex as it is, has a lot of value in the marketplace because there's not a lot of people that can do it.
Right.
And so if you can learn to do it and learn to sell it, then it's a chance for you to actually add to your revenue.
Got it. Interesting. So, did you ever do a time study of sorts to say
Yes.
how long, each of those types of garments takes? And so you were just sitting there
Absolutely.
watching, and then using that to say, this is my labor cost.
Yes.
Which was part 2, part 3, one of the
Yeah.
3 parts. Okay.
So one of the things that we would do quite often is time trials, right? It wasn't necessarily a race to see who was the fastest, but it was a time trial to see how quickly we could do something while maintaining a quality of standard, right? And without putting too much stress or too much pressure on the person performing the task. We want to do it super fast, we want to do it super easy, we want to do it at a pace that is comfortable but yet productive. And then over time, when you're collecting that data, you kind of have an idea. So Maria can say, all right, it's a front chest like this Deco Press logo on a black t-shirt. We can probably do 800 of those in an 8-hour shift,
Okay.
100 an hour. We know that. We just know that from experience. And so you build that into your pricing. Now, when you're starting out, you're going to get less productivity. And so you have to have a benchmark, and then you have to have a place where you want to go. You have to have the outcome that you're looking for and figure out how you're going to get there. How you get there is by having a combination of the right tools and equipment,
Got it.
and also the right transfer.
Ding.
Dang. But that's in essence how we would do it. So what I would tell you is this, is that for a backpack or a duffel bag or something like that, we charge a premium because they're bulky, they're harder to get on a platen, they're harder to place, okay? You got to move them around, and it might be like a 2-minute press time versus a 25-30 second press time. And when I say press time, I'm not talking about the actual duration
You're
of
talking
pressing.
the whole situation,
I'm talking about
setting
the
it up.
whole thing, the whole
Yeah,
enchilada, the whole setup to press off the platen and back down before
Right.
it can go in a box. So you look at it from that perspective. So as far as the press charges go, on the higher end, we might charge $2 to $2.50. I know you're thinking I'm crazy, but I'm not. You can actually get between $2 and $2.50 when you're pressing bulky items. You can charge $1.25 to $1.50 when doing outerwear. My good buddy at Sanmar, Jason Murphy, he would come in here and he'd talk to me about press charges all the time. He's like, blows my mind why people don't charge at least $1 for pressing.
Are you wrapping a lot of that into the cost then?
Yes.
Or separating it out on the order?
No, I think, so good point. Before, when we had our Printavo set up, we had press charge, we itemized everything.
Sure.
And then we'd always battle the customers.
Got
We'd
it.
always battle the customers.
Why am I getting charged this fee and
Yeah,
nickel and dime? Yeah.
why am I paying for this and why am I paying for that? And
Right.
so if you're going direct to retail, you're going direct to market, which most of you probably are, you want to build it all up into the cost of the garment, but you need to know how much money you're making. And that's why I think it's important for you to itemize it on your side.
Sure.
As opposed to the customer side.
Sure.
So you know what your profitability is, bottom line, right? Now, if you're working with brokers, then it's a different ballgame, right? Like, because you're not, in most cases, brokers want to drop ship the garments to you, and you're not able to make a margin on that. And so in that case, all you're working with is your application fee and your cost of goods sold. And so you're gonna need the markup on the cost of goods sold, primarily because if you have a problem in production where it takes you longer, you don't have any protection. That margin, that little bit of margin on the transfer, even if it's 20, 30 cents,
sure,
it goes a long way to protecting you from mistakes that can happen, right? Like sometimes if there's a misplacement and you need to remove the transfer and then move it, how do you cover yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That makes sense. I mean, the pricing part is huge. Pricing is crazy in every situation, and everybody starts off so low.
Yeah.
We did. You were just saying you did. Everybody starts off so low,
Yeah.
and we don't really know what the true profit that we make on the job is until the end of the year, and you're like, well, where'd the money go? How are we? Like, I thought we were slammed, or even end of the month.
Yeah.
So I think that's really interesting though, is like literally with a stopwatch or something, watching different types of fabrics, different types of locations, getting a sense, running example jobs. Here's what we priced. Does this make sense? I timed you, literally we completely broke even on labor, which is probably the biggest hidden cost because everybody knows what they're paying for the garments and paying for the transfer.
You know, from our side, it's not about getting as much work as you can. It's about getting the right type of work.
Right.
And so when we go out into the marketplace, we want to find the customers that value what we do.
Right.
And are willing to pay what we need to make in order for us to be a profitable business. And so we structured our pricing, we stuck by it, and we got people to adopt it. And we didn't move it all over the place. You know, like some people were happy, some people were unhappy. But at the end of the day, we know what it takes in order for us to make money off of doing this because we broke down and itemized all of our charges, all of our costs that we incur doing business. And built into that, you got to have your overhead. Like one thing that people don't factor into their pricing is their machine costs. Like how much are they paying for an actual machine? Mm-hmm. One of the things I love about the heat press business, you can go and buy the most like one of the best presses out on the market, and it might cost you $9,000 after you get the platens and all that other stuff. But you recoup that money real quick. You can do $10,000 of heat pressing business in a day. You could definitely do it in a week. You could definitely do it in a month. You make that money back on the equipment, you're home free. No lease payments. You don't have, hundreds of thousands of dollars in equipment costs.
Sure.
Everything you see in here is paid off.
Sure.
Because it doesn't cost a lot of money to get into the game. If you're a professional printer, this is where you need to go. In order to be doing high volume, making a profit, you can stick one of these things in a corner. We've got 4 of them on a pallet rack. We're super efficient.
So these are the stalls you're talking about, the manual heat presses.
So these are dual fusions, dual fusions are the most common presses that are out there in terms of air-operated presses, and they're a good press. And they allow you to do high volume. There are other manufacturers that do dual platen presses. AIT, Instagraphics has one. It's been delayed. We like to test all the presses that are out there. We like to work with all of them because we know that the market has so many different presses to offer. So we get them in, we test them. But what this allows you to do is it allows you to do faster production. With Supacolor, it's exceptionally fast because of the hot peel in our product. But what it also does is it protects your employees from what we call as press fatigue. And press fatigue is something that isn't really talked about in the marketplace, because it's just completely off the radar. Essentially what it means is that when you're using a manual press, you're subjected to the press popping up and then having to push it down. Let's go look at a manual press.
Let's go.
About it. Yeah. This is a manual heat press from Heat Press Nation. Pretty good press for someone that's just getting started out. It's not plugged in right now, but essentially what happens with press fatigue is you have to use force to push this press down and click it in like that, right? Takes some energy, takes a little bit of strength, and then when the timer goes off, you have to pop it up like that. That little pop-up right there, it's not good for your elbow, it's not good for your shoulder, and then it's gonna come up. This is repetitive motion. So a lot of companies out there, they want to protect their employees from repetitive motion that could be bad for their health physically. Mentally, the problem is the more and more you do that, you get tired. And also what happens is that's when mistakes start to happen. When the person is mentally and physically tired, the placement isn't as good. The pressing isn't as great. Production time slows down. Productivity goes down. And those are all of the things that in a business you don't want. The very reason why people get carousel wheels, automated screen print presses is so they can go faster, they can be more efficient, they can be more productive, but it's also easier on their employees not having to manually screen print something. So you could use this, you could start out here, but you don't want to stay there.
So when's the transfer, or when should people be thinking about the upgrade?
I would start thinking about the upgrade right away, because you have to have a vision for where you want to go.
But is there like okay, we need to seriously, for example, going from manual to automatic on the screen printing side, sure, you could definitely buy the auto right away, but maybe learning some of the art of it and so just getting situated in it and then be able to move over.
Well, I see what you're saying, but I think that also depends on what type of shop you are.
Okay, so is it like a numbers thing?
I think it's a numbers thing. I think it's how much volume you want to do, and also where you plan to take your business. It also, resources are is a variable that really has to go from shop to shop or person to person. If you're working in a smaller place and have a lower budget, then you definitely want to go with the manual. If you're a bigger shop, I think that you just go right to the automatic, personally, because I think that you're going to realize just huge gains right off the bat. I would tell you this, that starting a manual press, a good manual press, not the bottom of the barrel, but something kind of in the middle, is going to cost somewhere around $500 to $600. Okay. A really good manual press is probably going to cost somewhere under $1,000. An air compressed press like the Insta or an Air Fusion, probably going to cost between $2,000 and $3,500 for one head. And then a dual platen one is probably going to cost you between $7,500 to $9,000. Get started for just $500-600 and see how it works for you.
Right.
But there are limitations when you buy a press like this. You're not going to be able to change the platens out. It's going to be harder to print on a sleeve. It's going to be harder to do tricky locations. And the reason for that is this. There are three things that are needed when heat pressing: time, temperature, and pressure. Those three things need to be consistent in order to get good results. Okay? Now, when you're using a manual heat press, the way you adjust pressure is with this knob right over here. Okay? Now, the more you go up and down, this knob slowly is going to start turning. As it turns, the pressure is going to be off. And so you're constantly trying to have to adjust your pressure to get consistent results. So one day you might pop in, and next thing you know, your transfers are not peeling properly because you're not getting good pressure. The other thing is heat. The heating elements in these type of presses, for lack of a better description, are inferior. they don't maintain their heat consistently, so you have to constantly use a heat gun to check the areas on the heat press. Now, air-operated presses have better components. They maintain their heat more accurately. They definitely maintain their pressure more because they're using air pressure. You just get better results overall.
Got it.
Okay? This leaves a lot more to be desired. Now, if you're just getting started in the t-shirt business and you're not quite a professional printer, get started with this.
Don't forget to use coupon code Romalia.
This,
What are these, by the way? Are these neck pillows of some sort, or?
Maria, what are we pressing here?
We are pressing some
Therapeutic, hot, cold comfort packs.
Oh, so it goes around your arm?
Yeah.
I keep looking at them and I'm like, is this a neck pillow? Or?
See, this is the thing. You can print on stuff that you normally wouldn't print on to increase your profits.
Right.
Now, so check this out. I love this press. Okay, our good friends at Insta made this press. It's a model 907. This is a label press. It swaps out two little platens. This is the bigger one. I don't have the smaller one around here, but what we've also done is we made this ourselves. We custom made our own little platen, and that's the other thing that you can do with air-operated presses is you can go back to the manufacturer or work with a local welder or somebody like that to make your own platen.
What was this one for?
What did we use this one for, Maria?
I use for smaller bags.
Smaller bags.
Camping pillows.
So
camping blankets.
what this allows you to do
blankets,
is it allows something to hang over a little bit more.
Okay.
Okay. This is Gerardo. Gerardo is going to be pressing. What are we calling these things? These comfort packs. He's going to be pressing the comfort packs. And this is a Deco Tech label that we manufacture here. And as you can see, that color is matching quite nicely.
Yeah, that is a nice match.
Yeah. And that's parchment paper that he's using. And the parchment paper prevents the ink from the label migrating up to the platen of the press. Okay, that's a real quick press, and he's done. Perfect placement.
And these are like, you guys obviously can't feel this, but
Yeah.
there's beans in there too.
There's beans
which
in there.
definitely makes interesting.
And so when you do
characteristic
something like that, you have to do testing. And so that's also part of the front end of what we do. When a customer comes to us and wants us to do a specialized product, they must have sacrificial lambs that they give to us that we get to sacrifice.
How many do you
R&D.
say is it?
We usually ask for 2 or 3.
Okay.
In most cases, we're good after 1.
Got it.
This is anything that's a bulky item, anything that has a coating on it.
Right. This one's super unique too.
This
so.
is very unique. The main thing when you're doing a product like this is it has to be able to take pressure. If it can't take pressure or it melts, you can't press it. Then you got to find another technique. So cool. Just real quick, going to show you what this label looks like. And these can also be used to make, here you can zoom in right over here, but these can also be used to make size codes. And now we're going to go onto the other side. Maria, you're going to show us some pressing?
Yes.
All right, cool. This is a Hotronics cap press. This is not the prettiest press. You're probably wondering why there's so much Teflon and tape and all of these other things here. Over time, we've realized that you can build up a press to minimize pressure marks because you do need pressure, and on caps, oftentimes what happens is if you have too much pressure or too much heat, it melts the buckram of the cap. And so what we've done is we've tailored our presses with different types of platens. So this has rubber on the top over here. This has Teflon on the top over here. It is hot, don't do that at home. And what this allows you to do is just to get a better finish. Now, there are newer presses out now that have like silicone coated platens, bottom heat, to allow you to do the same type of deal. But you're talking about a $700, $800 press versus like a $1,500 press, right? So use what you got. and modify it to get the results that you want. And that's what's key, is using what you already got to modify it to get the best results. So Maria, what are you going to show us right now?
Like a hat.
Cool. This is a hat. These are some of the emblems that we're working with from Deco Press. And I'll tell you a little bit about each one real quick. So these two are suede products, and this is denim blue, that's gray. And this is a leatherette product. Whoops, that's upside down. And this is sim woven, and sim woven is really a fabric that's designed to emulate what a woven label might look like. So Maria's gonna press a cap, and which one are we gonna press?
You pick
Go for it.
black on black. I like black on black.
Black on black, okay. And so she's positioning the emblem. This has an adhesive behind it that allows for heat application. That's our specialty at Deco Press.
Just to make sure.
Okay, so the temperature she's going to press at is 265. And how many seconds are you going to press
25.
for? 25 seconds, okay, cool.
So I'm just gonna cover it. Give me a second. Pressure.
So you were asking me if I was nervous earlier when we were pressing Supacolor? I'm nervous now.
You shouldn't be.
She's a pro's pro. So do you usually pull out the inside of the cap when you do that, or do you just leave it like that?
It depends on the hat and it depends on the patch.
Okay, or transfer. If you're using a transfer, you're going to do that?
Yes.
Okay, just in case you're...
So like what type of hats would you pull it off for?
So for transfers, I do pull it out because I need even pressure. On patches, I don't. It doesn't need that big of a flat surface on the bottom. It won't show because I'm not doing a lot of the pressure.
Got it.
Of course, it's showing a little bit here, but then we just rub it with the felt, and it'll go away.
So again, the post-production techniques for eliminating heat marks, pressure marks are really important. I think that that's what separates the best press facilities from the ones that are, just more focused on the speed and not so much the quality or the end result. And you got to hone those in.
You can probably do this, and this one is better. Like I would pull it out just so you can see the difference. And then I need a piece of paper.
She's gonna use
Supacolor.
parchment paper to protect migration from hitting the top of the press. And if that happens every single time you press, you're going to get like ghosting on the product that comes after it. That's why you want to cover it, to prevent ghosting from happening.
And we're talking from experience, ghosting because it happened on a job. So that's why we've had to protect it.
Anything bad that could go wrong, we've experienced it.
To save other people.
Yeah.
Save other people.
And let me see if you guys can see
That's
the
awesome.
ghosting.
We should get Bruce to press some Supacolor. You down to press some Supacolor?
All right, let's do it. I'm
Let's
down.
do it. All right, cool. So we're at Deco Press. This is our new employee. This is Bruce from Printavo. And today he's going to be pressing Supacolor. I'm just kidding. Do you have the Supacolor one?
Yeah,
All right,
Supacolor.
cool. So, all right, so Maria, can you actually...
Everything is set up.
Everything's set up. Can you walk him through it?
Sure.
So you do one, and then we're going to show Bruce how Bruce is going to do
So
one.
we already set up our laces,
Sure.
desired placement and everything. We just put our t-shirt. Make sure it's even on the sides. So we get a center presser. My placement is already set up.
So most people at home are not going to have the laser technology, and that's also, we made this laser technology ourselves.
Oh wow!
This
I
is
didn't even
not-
notice this.
This is not something that you can just buy out of a box anywhere. We made this, and so what she did first was she she overdressed the platen, and then she pulled the shirt back to find the right placement.
Right.
And then most people are going to use fingers to feel that they're in the right place, but you can see the seams are perfectly aligned right here at the ends of the platen.
Right.
Now with the lasers, she can just drop it in.
Yeah. So I already folded my transfer in half. Just follow my laser
And now she's going to click the pedal. It's a 304 degrees, 40 psi, 10 seconds. And now as soon as it comes up, it's going to slide over. You're going to peel,
Okay.
and he'll do the next one. She's just going to peel really quickly from one corner to the other. Boom, just like that.
Got
It's a
it.
finished shirt. Okay,
can even feel the
feel that.
Perfect.
Yeah, awesome. So let's give Bruce a try. So hand him a shirt.
I've only had a little bit of heat press experience.
Oh, don't worry
from,
about it.
My wife's inside labels. We learned the hard way the first time of using Cool Gray 7 as we used black the first time.
be careful you're on the laser.
Oh yeah, my head.
You're tall.
All right, let me get a. This one is in Printavo.
Next time we'll get a Printavo one. But that's perfect. You got the collar hanging off.
Is that vertically similar? It looks a little bit to the, or horizontally.
So one of the things that you can do just to find the center point
Yeah.
is you just
Oh,
fold the
fold it over.
transfer. And what you do is you give it a little pinch here at the top. And it creates a little crease right there. That crease will go away. And now you can use that as your center point.
Smart.
Good to go.
It's magic.
Hold it down for 3 seconds. There we go. Good. So now it's just going to automatically pop up. And as soon as it pops up and moves away, you just want to peel fast and smooth. There you go. Fast and smooth. Boom. Perfect. Peel.
Are you nervous?
No!
Should have been because I was doing it. This is Rose's way of getting free labor, by the way. No, this looks awesome.
And that's also a parting gift. You get to take that home with you today.
Boom.
Awesome. This is Charlene. She's our embroidery tech.
Hey, Charlene.
And one of the things that we really specialize in over here is sewing patches down. And so we don't do too much direct embroidery. We use our embroidery machines to either manufacture patches or sew down patches. And there's a very exclusive group of people that we do this for, so it's not like just open to anybody. We don't take customers off the street, or we don't solicit this type of business. It's something that we've been doing for a number of years, and we're just known in the market to kind of specialize in this one little area, which is really interesting because if you look at our shop, everything that we do is very unique in the marketplace. We're operating as a specialty shop. We're not operating as somebody that does conventional type of printing, conventional type of decorating. We've made a name for ourselves in this space by really just specializing in different things.
Sure.
And so,
Can we see this one?
yeah,
over?
let's run it. Okay, so are you doing the guide stitch?
Yeah.
Okay, so what you've already done the guide stitch?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you are laying down a patch, one of the first things that you need to do is you need to do what's called a guide stitch. Okay, so here's the guide stitch. That's what tells you where the placement is. Okay. The next thing is we got a tacky back. Want to feel that? You got a tacky back. It's sticky. What the tacky back allows you to do is it allows you to get the patch to stay in place, because when the machine starts vibrating, this is going to move around if it doesn't have any tack on the back. And then so what you want to do is you want to place the patch down, and then it's on. You want to check my placement? Yeah. I don't want to mess up whatever you're doing.
We should probably double check that one.
Yes, fine.
Yeah, not my wheelhouse. And then now she's ready to go. And so this is going to be the final sew down.
All right, let's do it.
Cool. Can we see one? All right. There you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Now, with the tacky back, what's really cool is you could hit this with a 5-second press, and that'll prevent any type of bubbling or puckering when it's washed. It keeps everything laying flat, because over time what'll happen is air and water will get behind the patch and it'll make it bubble up, and it won't always stay flat. Adding adhesive, heat applied adhesive to the back of it allows this to stay flat, stay down, and look beautiful for years. Cool.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and so this is kind of another thing that we do is we make the printed patches, the Deco patches, and what we can do is we can add borders to our patches to give it an embroidered finish. The benefit of doing a technique like this is you can't embroider the fine print, like the one existence. It's really hard to embroider that type of stuff. It's tiny, right? Even when you print it, it's kind of hard to see, but the customer liked that. And so what you do is you add a border to the edge to give it that embroidered finish, and then these can be heat applied. You press them to whatever garments you want. So there's one last piece that I can't show you, but what you'll find really interesting is in this building we not only have both Deco Press, but we also have Supacolor. And so at Supacolor we make the world's best heat transfer. Right here, our LA facility is in Gardena, California. We also have locations in New Zealand and the United Kingdom, and we're growing, so who knows, there might be a location coming soon near to you.
Thanks guys for joining us. This has been awesome hanging out with Rum and the gang over at Deco Press, over at Supacolor. We wish we could show maybe one day, but there's a lot of really cool secrets that are going on over there. But this has been incredible. High volume, heat transfers, all the detail. We gotta do a lot more content here just to show. There's so many details. There's so many details here. Thanks you guys so much for joining. We'll see you guys in the next one.